I think for me, being a woman is a gift. It's not something that I always thought was a gift when I was growing up. But as I've gotten older, I realized that women have incredible capacity to feel, and they actually have a lot of strength that often cannot be seen on the outside. But I've noticed that I've met with a lot of strong women who've carried a lot of strong men through a lot of different things. And so I can say now that I am very proud to be a woman, physically, mentally, and emotionally. My journey towards starting Earth Heir was probably something that started when I was quite young. And I would say a lot of my inspiration in wanting to do something more for others rather than just for myself actually came from my father. So I spent a lot of my summers living in India and traveling with my parents to remote villages, and that's really where I saw that a lot of people around the world don't have what we have. And as much as we may think in Malaysia, maybe we're not a rich country or we don't think we're rich, but the basic things that we have are what a lot of people around the world have no access to. So I grew up realizing that we have a very blessed life, and I wanted to do something that would give back, because I feel like in my own life I've been blessed. So along the way, I decided to come back to Malaysia after 15 years of being abroad, and I came back when I was about to turn 30 actually, and I worked at Khazanah National and back in the corporate world, and I was working very hard, and one day I fell asleep when I was driving, and it's not because of the company or anything, it's just that I was working so much, and I fell asleep and I woke up and I thought, I'm still alive. So I didn't die. But if I did die, would I have been proud of the life that I've lived? Have I done what I want to do? And if I die tomorrow, what kind of legacy am I leaving behind? So it was at this moment in my life that I decided to quit my job, and I took time off. And it was during that time off that I was in Cambodia. I was working with weavers. I was actually there building schools, teaching English. And that's when I met with weavers who were struggling. I met with women and children who were rescued from brothels, from sex trafficking. And I didn't know how to help. So I thought, I realized that some of the women made scarves and they wove beautiful silk fabric. So I actually started buying those and selling it to my friends. And that's essentially how Earth Heir started. That's when I started thinking about the meaning behind the things that we buy and what we wear. And why does that matter? Why should it matter? And why should we care? And then realizing that there's a huge industry in fashion that does not really think about the people that made the clothes that we wear, the bags that we buy, the shoes that we buy. And I realized that there is a lot of exploitation in the industry, not just to humans, but also on the environment, of the huge environmental cost of fashion. And so because of that, I decided to bring in Fashion Revolution into Malaysia and try to champion this idea of ethical and sustainable fashion in Malaysia. And I've been running Earth Heir now for 6 years, and we now work with about 100 artisans all over Malaysia. We work with refugee women, we work with disabled artisans, with rural women, with Orang Asli, Orang Asal tribes. We've even worked with women in prisons. So the idea is really how can we create fashion for good, where you can buy something and it's actually changing someone's life. It's not just destroying the environment. It's not exploiting them, but the person making it is being paid fairly for the hours that they put in. They have good working conditions, and the environmental impact is minimized. Yeah. So in thinking about how to be a conscious consumer, one of the things is you may not always be able to buy materials or clothing that is made ethically. So for example, when I'm wearing like my dress, it's not natural fiber, but I bought it more than 10 years ago. So I think one of the ways that you can be ethical is buy fewer things, but use them for a longer time. So buying things new is one of the bad impacts of fashion. And the jewelry that I'm wearing today, it's designed by us and it's made by refugee women. So it's a project that we've started about 2 years ago to help provide an income for refugees in Malaysia. I think you can measure impact in many ways, and I think one of the easiest ways would obviously be like, how many people's lives have you changed? But I don't think that is really the right measure. I think the right measure is, how have you changed? So maybe by me being alive, I've only changed the life of one person. But if that one person's life was dramatically changed and there were new opportunities that they got, or they were able to support themselves and their whole family, I mean, just that for me is enough. So for me, with what I'm doing with Earth Heir, I mean, my dream now has grown bigger in terms of, when I first started Earth Heir, it was really about helping a group of people. But now my vision is, how can I help Malaysia? I mean, as an Indian, I must say that I've struggled with my identity, being a Malaysian, being Indian, about whether I'm valued in my own country. And because when I was growing up, there were instances where I didn't feel valued, in Malaysia, growing up in Malaysia. And so that was challenging for me, but now I feel very proud of who I am, and I feel like this country has so much potential, and our strength is in the diversity that we have. It's the fact that all of us of different races, religions, cultures are coming together, and we make up this amazing melting pot of a country. And I want to be able to show the world how amazing we are and what heritage and crafts we have in this country.